For those that don't know me, I'm Nick Howe. I'm the president of the Owners Club for Florida. This is one of our regular Welcome Wednesdays, although a special one. Instead of a Q&A today, we have a special guest, Joe Pack, from a company called Amber. Amber is a new entrant, relatively new entrant, into the Tesla market. I'll let Joe explain everything that they do, and then we'll open it up to some Q&A. If you've got a question, there is a chat icon down on the bottom right-hand corner. If you hover over it, it'll say chat with everyone. So if you want to put any questions in there, just do that, and I'll keep an eye on them during the call. If you really, really need to interrupt, then there's another icon, looks like a hand like that. Press that to raise your hand, and I'll go to you. But I say we will leave plenty of time for questions. So if you can hold on, just do that or type it in the box. And with that, Joe, you should be able to share, so I'll hand it over to you.
Great. Yeah, thank you, Nick, and thank you to all of the Florida Club members for inviting me. As Nick mentioned, my name is Joe. I'm the CEO and one of the co-founders of Amber. At Amber, what we're doing is building solutions for out-of-warranty Tesla owners. And that's where we're starting today. Our larger vision is we see an opportunity to help out-of-warranty EV owners in general, but we feel like Tesla is a great place to start, and for many reasons. My background, I'll just share a little bit more about myself. I have some visuals that I'll share with you all. My background, I've spent most of my career building and investing in companies that are really at the intersection of data and software. And throughout just my entire career, something that I've been really interested in and wanted to spend more time in was the field of transportation. So I've always been really fascinated by what's coming in the future of transportation, whether it's how the vehicles are becoming more connected and software defined. There's also this whole field of electric vehicles, which I think has a big place or a part to play in the future of transportation. So after some years in industry, I decided to start Amber. And the reason why I started Amber, I spoke to a lot of Tesla owners now. I think it's a couple hundred at this point. Actually, we have a member on the call today, Tom, who's one of our customers. He was one of the hundreds of Tesla owners that we talked to and technicians. And the thing that I started to notice, or we started to notice at Amber, was that life after the Tesla warranties has uncertainty. And there's lots of different angles to this, but a few things really stood out to us. The first is talked about a lot in the media. So there's this question around how the vehicles are going to perform over time. And as we sort of think about where we are today, just over the 10-year mark, right, for the Model S.
For a second,
and
come get me.
Where we're going for the Model 3 and why. We still have some questions around, hey, how are these vehicles going to perform over time? The second thing that we really started to notice and hear about was that there are some repairs that come up for these vehicles over time. And when they do, they can be quite expensive because of the specialized repair talent and labor that's required and parts, right? This is not like taking and owning a Camry, right, to the repair shop down the street. Going to the Tesla service center, right, can be very expensive. I know myself as a Tesla owner, it's not a place where I want to go frequently, but this is an area that we think will expand as the aftermarket grows and out of warranty Tesla population grows. Last thing is that we noticed that it's really hard to get a hold of someone when you have a problem with your Tesla. So with these problems in mind, we built this product, our first product at Amber, and it's called AmberCare. We like to position this as AppleCare for your electric vehicle. For folks who are familiar with this market, right, this is an extended warranty coverage that we provide, and we protect all sorts of different parts of the vehicle. The most important parts that folks always ask us about, or customers ask us about, the battery, the drivetrain, right, the motors. But there are other things on this vehicle that lead to $1,000 repair bills, which include your charge port, your charging system, your HVAC, right, keeps that battery nice and cool during the heat of the Florida summer, and all sorts of different electronics, right? There's a big motor in your car or motors in your car that are propelling the vehicle, but there are also the smaller motors, right, that run your tailgate, your seats, your powered seats, all sorts of different parts of the vehicle. So what we set out to do was build an extended warranty program that was different than what was existing. So what we saw in the market was that there are a lot of coverages out there in the traditional world that ask you to pay thousands of dollars upfront for not really clear coverage. And if you look at the fine print, many of these coverages don't cover an electric vehicle battery. They don't cover the charging system. They don't cover the drive unit. And we thought, well, these warranty coverages are really built for the gas car world. And that's fine. That really works for gas car owners. But we thought, hey, electric vehicle owners deserve something different because there are different components and there's different expertise that's involved. The second thing that we did, instead of just focus on the product, was we thought about the customer experience, right? It's one thing to buy warranty coverage. It's another to try to figure out, how do I even use this thing? And do I want to use this thing? Or is it just, sort of a pain in the butt to even use it and get reimbursed for costs? So what we did was we went out and hired ex-Tesla service advisors and repair technicians to review and reimburse claims completely in-house. So this is a very unique thing that we do at Amber, is anytime a customer has a claim, we actually will review that claim in-house. And in the event that we are covering that repair, we'll try to coordinate directly with the Tesla Service Center or other authorized repair facility to directly reimburse that particular service provider, make sure the dollars don't come out of your pocket. There are cases that, a Tesla Service Center might say, you know what, we don't want you paying for customers' repairs. In those cases, we'll reimburse the customer directly, but we do everything we can to try to make sure that there's no additional burden on your front coordinating with the service center or paying for costs out of pocket. We do have two different ways that we offer AmberCare. One is we do offer a monthly rate now. This is a newer product that we announced a couple months ago. These are the starting prices. And if you look at the 65, 70, or 90 bucks here for the different coverage types, these are more reflective of a newer Model 3. And the cost will go up to about $150 or $200 per month, depending on the age and the model of your vehicle. Now, we also do provide discounts for upfront payments, but we do feel like this monthly payment option is a really good one for many owners to start and stop when they feel like they'd like to. I talked a little bit about how you use AmberCare. It takes 3 steps. You get your vehicle diagnosed. In the event of a vehicle issue, you forward that estimate to us. We look at it. Again, we have former Tesla service advisors and technicians on our team that know every SKU. They sort of know every single concern and diagnosis to validate that very quickly. And then we try to reimburse you within 24 hours if possible. If we can, we try to reimburse that service provider directly. Now, as Nick mentioned, we're new to the market, but there are other competitors out there. I think I've talked about the folks on the right, which are the big box warranty providers. These are folks that you might see like CarShield or Endurance. These ads will come into your mail. They'll come into your email inbox. We also have folks that are a little bit more geared towards electric vehicle market. So Accelerate is a competitor of ours that has been in the market for some time. And then, of course, you've got Tesla. And, I think the big things that we always talk about with our customers in terms of our differentiators are really these first 3 items. The first is that we do provide flexible options for payment. Again, if there are customers that would like to pay upfront, we do provide a discount. Otherwise, we do have a monthly payment option. We do cover pre-owned electric vehicles, which is a huge market. A lot of folks are in their second or third or fourth owner positions of the vehicle. And then we do cover that high voltage battery and drive unit. In the event of a failure, we will pay for the removal and replacement of that battery or the drive units on your vehicle. Some of these other things I do want to talk about. I think they're very important to how we're different as well in terms of a technology angle, but I'll quickly summarize this as, again, the end-to-end experience is really important to us. We're not just the warranty provider you pay and you sort of forget about. What we really want to do is support the end-to-end experience. So in the event of an issue, we will help diagnose the issue, and then we try to make that experience coordinating with the service center as painless as possible. I have a couple more slides here, and then I want to make sure I have plenty of time for questions. But at this point, you might ask, so if you are interested in learning a little bit more about what we do at AmberCare and such, we have all this information online. We want to make this accessible. We thought about the Tesla buying experience and how easy it is to access information, to compare prices. So all of our pricing is online. You can go to our website at getamber.com to look at the specific pricing for your model, your vehicle year, for the state of Florida, where we are live today. But I did want to talk about a sort of an exclusive program and set of benefits that we're offering for the Florida Club. So specifically in Florida, we have a couple offers that are particularly beneficial to owners of the club. So the first one is that we have a featured program with a partner called the Electrified Garage. Some of you all may have heard of the independent service that they provide. They have garage locations in Massachusetts and then one in Ocala. I understand Ocala is a little bit of a trek for a lot of folks. So I just wanted to clarify that this program is exactly the same as AmberCare. You can take your car to any Tesla service center or authorized repair facility provider. So Electrified Garage is one of those authorized providers for us. But there are a couple additional benefits on top of that. So you do get exclusive pricing that we have negotiated with our partner Electrified Garage if you sign up for Electrified Care. And then as part of this benefit, you also will get 10% off any labor that is non-covered under our plan. So that could be, rotating your tires or getting your cabin air filter exchanged. So those are not covered items under AmberCare Electrified Care, but those would be eligible for a labor discount if you did choose to go to Electrified Garage. On top of this, there is an additional discount that Nick and I are sort of working on exclusive for the Florida Club members. So again, if this is something that's interesting to you, I will leave behind my email and all this information for you all to consider. And you can always reach out to me with any questions, and we'll make sure that you get the best deal and the best rate for coverage for your vehicle that's of interest to you.
Hey Joe, so if I could just chip in, because I think this is a really important point, and I just want to make sure everybody understands. So let me paraphrase it back and just make sure that I understood. So there are you have two offerings in Florida. There is the native AmberCare, which people can sign up for, and they can get their car worked on either by Tesla or by an authorized Tesla facility, just as you described in the earlier slides. But specifically in Florida, you also have a partnership with Electrified Garage. They brand your offering as Electrified Care. It's the same offering. You can still go to Tesla. You could still potentially, I guess, go to other authorized centers, but you can, ideally, I guess they would like you to go to Electrified Garage. But if you go with the Electrified Care offering, it's actually cheaper than going to you directly. So the offering itself is cheaper. And if you get any non-warranty work, done by Electrified Garage, the fact that you have an Electrified Care policy through them means they will give you a 10% discount for that non-warranty work. Is that correct?
That's correct. You nailed it. Yep.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Of course. So, this is very exclusive again for folks in Florida and members of this club. And then Nick and I will share out after this webinar the additional discount that is going to be extended to the club members of this club. So those are all the slides I had today. I did want to, again, open the floor up for questions. Happy to answer any of those. Although, Nick, if you could help me sort of prioritize through the messages, that would be really great.
Sure. Well, there's nothing come through yet, but does anybody have any questions? I know I've got a ton of questions, but does anybody want to chip in? Tom M says, Tesla warranties the battery for up to 8 years and 100,000 miles. How does the Amber battery coverage compare?
Yes, so the coverage that we provide for the high voltage battery, the drive units, and actually the rest of the vehicle, we do cover customers initially. So you can enter the AmberCare program up to 200,000 miles, and then we will cover your vehicle up to 250,000 miles. So the short answer would be we do cover the battery up to 250,000 miles as long as you sign up before your 200,000 mile mark.
Okay, and one thing you didn't say, Joe, so you cover all Teslas from 2016 onwards, correct?
It is actually 2015 onwards. We just opened up the 2015 class as well. Yes.
Okay, so there are already cars that you potentially cover that have gone past their drivetrain warranty for age reasons, and certainly any car that's over 100,000 miles is out of warranty from a drivetrain perspective, and you would cover those vehicles. Yes,
that's correct. The one caveat I would say is that we haven't entered the Cybertruck business yet. Sorry, John, but we'll that's something we're still sort of trying to understand that vehicle a little bit better before we dive into that business segment. But otherwise, yes, that is correct.
Yeah, and Cybertruck, it's going to be a few years before we get the first non-warranty cars.
That's right. Yeah.
And if my memory serves me right, John, as it stands right now, all Tesla vehicles come with that 8-year, 100,000 mile drivetrain warranty, and then a 4-year bumper-to-bumper warranty that you can potentially extend for another 2 years, and then you're on your own. Is that correct?
Is that a question for me, Nick?
Yeah, sorry, Joe. Yes, question for you.
It's okay. Yes, so sorry, I want to make sure I heard the correct question, but yeah. I think what I heard from you, Nick, was, how does the Amber coverage compared to Tesla ESA? Is that right?
Well,
the extended service agreement?
It's more, what is the warranty that's available from Tesla today? How long is it? When does it expire?
Yeah, of course. So the Tesla ESA, and this is, we've been sort of keeping up to date because Tesla does change this around a little bit. But to our understanding, the latest is that the Tesla extended service agreement, which is their extended warranty coverage, is available for the original owner of the vehicle while the vehicle's still under its 4-year, 50,000 miles. So that's the new vehicle limited warranty. It does not cover the battery or the drive units, but it does cover everything else for, I believe, 2 years and 25,000 additional miles of the vehicle, whichever one comes first. Okay.
And just my last question on this whole coverage thing. You don't require any continuous coverage. So if I'm the second owner of a car and it's 5 years old, so it's out of warranty, and I've got 75,000 miles on it, I can still sign up with AmberCare and get coverage on that.
Yes, that's correct. The reason why we are able to do that versus other traditional warranty providers is that we do conduct a remote diagnostic of the vehicle before we underwrite or accept the customer um, into AmberCare. And that just gives us a little bit more peace of mind that there are no major things wrong with that vehicle before we cover the vehicle. Otherwise, a lot of warranty providers may reject any vehicles that don't have continuous coverage of the vehicle.
Yeah. And again, you shortened your presentation. Thank you. It was nice and short and to the sweet. But one thing you didn't really talk about was that, or any detail, was that remote diagnostics. And as I understand it, because you have those Tesla employees and because of the nature of the certifications that you've gone through, you have full access to Tesla's remote diagnostic software.
Yes, that's correct. So we were really lucky to have a couple of the early employees of the Milford Service Center join our team. And we do, to your point, Nick, have access to the official Tesla diagnostics kit. So this is not skunkware or some other software provider out there. We are using the official Tesla diagnostics toolkit to access the vehicle. And the way that it works is that it is all opt-in. So we would ask for authorization to your vehicle and you would grant that to us. It is a short-lived access, so it would expire. We evaluate the vehicle and then get back to you with the results of what we find. It is a 150 plus point inspection technically, because we are looking at all of the firmware alerts that actually aren't even customer facing a lot of the time. They are service center facing. So we will evaluate that and let you know what we find during that process before we accept the application.
Okay, and I have a quick follow-up to that, but before we go on to that,
Sure.
one of the questions was, what's your website address? I think I'm right in saying it's getamber.com, correct?
Yep, that is correct. getamber.com. I will also paste the Electrified Care URL as well.
Cool, thank you.
Into the chat.
Yeah. Let's see what questions we've got there. Joe Casal says, our 2020 Model S warranty is up in late November. I'm not sure of the cost of the 4-year extended warranty from Tesla. How does Amber compare to Tesla's ESA?
Sure. So again, this is just operating on the most current information that we have from Tesla's website, but our understanding is that the 2-year extended coverage from Tesla roughly costs about $2,500 for the 2 years. We are right on that mark in terms of the average. So our coverage on average costs about $100 a month. That said, the differences again are that you can start and stop anytime with us. And I believe our prices may be even lower than Tesla for a 2-year coverage if you do pay up front, which is what the Tesla ESA will ask you to do.
And if the vehicle were to go over 100,000 miles during that period, then the drivetrain would no longer be covered by Tesla, but it would be under your warranty.
Yes, that's right. And the way that we will advise customers on this is that we have modeled our coverage types. Actually, I will bring that up again we have modeled our coverage types to fit into the and be complementary to the Tesla warranty. So when customers expire out of their 4-year 50,000 mile warranty, we typically see that a lot of them will purchase a basic coverage, which will cover everything but the battery and the drive unit. And then if they would like to, upgrade to a premium contract. Now, there are other customers that say, you know what, I'd like to just get everything covered. And we do account for the overlap time where we may not be covering the battery and the drive unit under a premium coverage. Again, this is a little bit complex the way I'm explaining it, but the short story would be we try to make sure that you don't pay for coverage that you don't need. So we try to create that flexibility for you with a couple different coverage types.
Okay. Tom asks, who does the testing to get Amber coverage?
The testing is conducted by our in-house remote diagnostics technician. So his name is Chad. He spent 10 plus years at Tesla. We're very fortunate to have him join us as opposed to joining Rivian a couple months ago. So he is actually the one who will be performing those remote diagnostics on your vehicle.
Okay, thank you. Dudley, my 2017 Model X has 106,000 miles. Congratulations. Is coverage available?
Yes, coverage would be available for you. The coverage types that would be available, again, it can be any of these, but we would probably head you towards the premium coverage, which would cover that battery, the drive units, and then everything else on the vehicle.
All righty. Now, I had another question earlier when we were talking about coverage. So you will do the remote diagnostics on the car. You don't require any physical diagnostics on the car. No, you don't have to take it into Tesla or an authorized service center to get it checked over before the coverage will kick in, correct?
That's right. And the diagnostic, just to be clear, is complimentary during the application process. We do have a standalone, more in-depth diagnostic that we also provide access to in a consultation. You can think of that as sort of like a telehealth solution for your Tesla, but the diagnostics that we perform during the application process are completely remote, completely complimentary. So yeah, we can perform those just with the click of authorization from you.
Yeah. And could you clarify, Joe?
Yes.
Kind of made a throwaway comment about the month-to-month coverage. I mean, can you literally start and stop if you wanted to, or are you still entering into a 2-year contract, but you kind of like AppleCare? I have a 2-year AppleCare contract for my laptop, but it's a 2-year contract even though I'm paying monthly.
Yes. So today it is the latter, which is it's technically a 1-year commitment at the very least that you pay monthly. We are trying to get to a place where it can be a true month-to-month coverage, just like AppleCare, or maybe even not even AppleCare, but it is truly a 30-day coverage that you can start and stop whenever you'd like. Now, that is a thing that we've been working on for some time, so I will share that news or an update when it's available through you, Nick.
Yeah, cool. Thank you. Any other questions from anyone?
I had a quick question. Sorry.
Yeah,
sure.
Go for it.
Do you guys do anything that's proactive? So I know this is all reactive. So something has happened and, oh God, I got to spend a lot of money. I need your help. But do you have anything on the forward side of the funnel? So keeping me from having an issue.
Today, we do not. We would love to get there. That is part of our product roadmap. So we will certainly keep you posted on that. But our vision would really be to try to be as proactive as possible, because that's actually great for us, right? Some of these issues can be small in the beginning and then really sort of spiral out of control if no one is really thinking about it or looking at it. So we'd love to get to the point where the entire ownership experience is just stress-free because someone else is kind of looking out for you. But that's going to take us a little bit of time to get there.
Cool, thanks.
A couple other questions came in. So Tom asked, and I think you already covered this, but cover it again, Joe. Can you pay annually? And if so, is there a discount?
Yes, so you can pay upfront for 1, 2, 3. I think the most that we may sell coverage for is like 4 years, and 4 or 5 years might be the maximum. I have to double check, but yes, you can certainly pay upfront, and there is a discount for paying for a plan upfront instead of monthly.
Okay. And if I heard you correctly, you can start coverage if your vehicle has anything less than 200,000 miles on it.
Correct.
And you will stop coverage if the car reaches 250,000.
That's correct.
Okay. David, my wife's 2020 Model S, 27,000 miles is timing out. Could you provide an example price?
Off the top of my head, I could not, but I can certainly reach out to you after this. I have to go through the the spreadsheet and such to be able to find that.
But in terms of the processing and getting a quote, could you just walk some people, could you walk us through what data do you have to fill in order to find out how much it might cost?
Yes. So what we asked for during the application process are the vehicle make, model, year, the mileage of your vehicle, the current mileage, and then your VIN. I believe those are the only things that we asked for to get to a price. So you could actually go to our website at getamber.com and look for that pricing for your vehicle.
Silly question. If you have the VIN, don't you know the make, model, and year?
That is a great question. We can get that information, although we just like to make sure that, if we're using third-party data sources or anything like that, that we have accurate information on the vehicle.
Okay. And then, so people fill in that information, and the number that they get back, is that the number? Or is there
Correct.
any change that any chance the number's going to change when it comes to the contract?
So no, and I just saw John's question. So the answer would be pricing is provided before the diagnostic. The diagnostic is largely just to say, hey, let's agree that the vehicle is in this state. And if it is all good to go, then that is the price that you would get for your vehicle on the contract.
Okay. Tom asks, about how much does it cost to replace the high voltage battery on a Model S?
I don't know about a 100D battery. That is a great question. The last time I looked at the Tesla electronic parts catalog, I saw a remanufactured Model S battery for 18,500, but I can't remember how many kilowatt hours that it was.
Yeah,
So.
I mean, that aligns. Again, I certainly haven't memorized the parts catalog by any means, but I've heard numbers depending on which vehicle it is, between 16 and 20. So depending on the size of the battery. So you're right in the middle on that one. Will you do the pricing before the diagnostic? Don't you need some credentials to do the diagnostic?
So the answer to the first question is yes. We will provide pricing before the diagnostic. And then in terms of the credentials, the answer is yes. So we would need your Tesla email on your account and then your VIN. And what we would do is that once you provide those, we request access to the vehicle through the Tesla Diagnostics Toolkit. You would get an email from Tesla themselves. Actually, it says no reply at teslamotors.com asking if you would authorize access to your vehicle. When you click yes, we would then get access to your vehicle for that 7-day period.
So the purpose of that diagnostic is to provide some information to the customer about any issues there might be, but really from your perspective, you're trying to, as I understood it, you won't cover pre-existing conditions. So if you're seeing some significant error with some piece of equipment in the car, would you still go ahead with the coverage but exclude that part, or would you not allow the coverage?
It's a case-by-case basis. In most cases, if it is a serious issue, we will go ahead and have that conversation with the customer and say, I think it's best that you go get this fixed and come back to us and we'll cover the vehicle. If there are minor issues, like a power seat has an alert that is flashing, we may just say, hey, this is excluded. But the nice thing, to your point, Nick, is that we have a level playing field. This is one thing that is very different than other traditional warranty providers. They won't tell you what a pre-existing condition was, and then it will be a gotcha. What we don't want is a gotcha in a claims process. We just want to have a very level playing field, a single source of truth to be able to point back and say, these were the things that we saw, these were the existing conditions, and everything else we would cover under the plan. So we try to make that claims approval process as binary as we can.
Okay, cool. Hey, Bill, did you have a question? I thought it looked like you were putting your hand up.
Yeah, I was just gonna make a comment. I did the application probably in the first 2 or 3 minutes of the presentation. Very simple, and I got a response, and I'm just waiting now for another response to authorize them to do the remote check. But it's a pretty simple process. My car is still covered, but it's something I'm certainly interested in looking at. I think, I'm interested, but not yet. But it's a simple process from what I, having done it just now.
Could you do me a favor, Joe, and just stop sharing your screen so we just get all
yes.
the,
Yes.
all the pictures back?
The default thing I do.
That's all right. Thank you. All right. Anybody else got any questions for Joe? Yeah. Hey, David.
Is it possible to go through the process through the diagnostic test and then decide that you don't want the product, but you have the results of the diagnostics test, which could be very useful information?
Yes, you certainly can. I will say that the standalone diagnostic that we do that is paid, that will have a much more in-depth look at your vehicle, results of your vehicle. The results that we provide, that's a complimentary diagnostic during the application process, is a little bit contracted. So yes, the answer is you can certainly go through our process and get that diagnostic, and then either decide or think about it before you sign up for AmberCare.
Is the price on the expanded diagnostics, what is that?
Yes, that is right now it's $99. So that would be for the report and a 15-minute consultation with Chad, our remote diagnostic technician.
Okay.
Cool.
I think I saw another question from Tom as well, Nick, in the in the message board. So yeah, go ahead, Nick.
Well, so for those of you that don't see it, the question was, if you do a diagnostic and find a problem, do you bill me for the diagnostic if I don't get Amber?
No, we do not. So same train of thought as the answer I gave to David. The diagnostic is complimentary. Again, it is protracted versus the larger diagnostic that is paid for, but we will not bill you for that diagnostic if you do not choose to proceed with AmberCare or Electrified Care.
And I think you said this, but I just want to reiterate. I was just looking back at John's question about credentials. So when you, so the process for the diagnostic is you trigger something in the Tesla software that requests permission from the owner to access their vehicle, but that is only a temporary access. I think you said 7 days. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
So then at that point, you Amber lose remote access to that vehicle.
Yes, that's right. So if we needed access to the vehicle again, let's just say you thought about it, and maybe 3 weeks later you wanted to apply again, we would have to actually ask you for access to your vehicle again.
Cool. Thank you. Eric, you raised your hand.
Hey, thanks. Joe, quick question for you on
Sure.
the purchase of a used car. So let's say I was thinking about buying a used Tesla, and I just was curious on, is the car in good shape? Are you able to do like a diagnostic, even if it's paid, on that vehicle to tell me what, are there any issues?
On the record, the answer is yes. We do that. We also provide it for many customers who call in already. So this is a common use case. Again, that free diagnostic that we provide during the application process is dependent on two things, right? The VIN and the email access. So we'd have to ask the dealer or whoever has access to that email account, would you provide the email address? And the second thing is, again, it is a protracted or a shortened version of that full diagnostic.
Okay, so it would require the permission of the current owner of the car for you to
Correct.
get remote access to it in order to do that.
Yeah, and we've seen at least in the wild that there are some used car dealers that are really good about this. They have a Tesla for Business account. They get the account access from the old owner, and it's really easy for them to grant that access. We've also seen many dealers who don't realize that they have a car on their lot that they don't actually have access to from the email account. So, the short story is, as long as we have that email account, we should be able to provide that diagnostic.
Sorry, just a quick follow up. The $99 offering, do you
Yes.
have to have an AmberCare account in order to take advantage of that?
No, and I actually did want to just clarify on that standalone diagnostic. That is not an offering that we've actually publicly launched yet. I was
Okay.
just like, we're moving so quickly, I realized that we hadn't announced that one yet. It is something that we'd like to announce in the coming weeks. But no, you do not have to have an AmberCare account to get that discounted, or excuse me, that diagnostic.
Are you prepared to be swamped with diagnostic requests?
We that's that's a great question. We would be very lucky to be in that position, and we'll figure out a way to scale the process.
What else? Lawrence said, I bought my used Tesla that came with the extended service agreement. Does it make sense to do AmberCare in addition?
If you have the extended service agreement, it depends. I would say if you do not have coverage of the battery or the drive unit anymore, and that is something that you are concerned about, our essentials plan does cover just the battery and the drive unit, so that could be an option for you. Honestly, it just depends on your risk tolerance and how you think about it. But I would generally say that if you have that extended service agreement, the greatest value that you would get is when that ESA expires for you to sign up for AmberCare, the premium coverage. But you can cover the battery and the drive units in addition to that ESA if that is something you are interested in.
Yeah. So my car, like a couple of other people have said, my car's coming up for 4 years old in November.
Sure.
So I have the choice of doing the ESA versus AmberCare. As you said, they're similar kind of price. I'm still well within the 100,000 miles, so my drivetrain is still going to be covered. Is there a reason why I should go with AmberCare versus taking the Tesla ESA?
I would say that, and I'm just going to make a pitch on behalf of our concierge team. So, one of the things that we really value here at Amber is that in addition to the coverage that you get access to these ex-Tesla service advisors and repair technicians and a phone number. And I know a lot of the times that is a frustrating thing for many customers to not have a phone number you can call in the event of an issue with your Tesla vehicle when you're dealing with Tesla service. So I'd say like that is one big benefit, is that you can call us. The second is that, we do have some additional benefits. I actually need to double check on this, Nick, but in addition to the coverage that we provide, we will also cover up to 14 days in the event of a repair, up to $100 a day for a rental, Uber or Lyft. I know Tesla service may or may not have loaners at times, so that can be a great benefit. We will also cover tows, to the nearest Tesla service center in the case that your vehicle is not operable. So if you get that dreaded vehicle cannot restart or start alert on your screen, then you would know that there's some additional benefits that we provide in addition to coverage. I have to double check, Nick, on whether the ESA also provides those benefits, but those are some of the things that you might want to consider when you're thinking about AmberCare versus the ESA.
Tom says that Tesla charges $279 if you bring the car in within the ESA. Do you know about that, and do you agree? Do you have a charge? It sounds like even if you have an ESA, they're still going to Tesla's still going to hit you with some kind of fixed fee.
That I wonder if that is the deductible. Actually, that is something that we did not talk about today. So under the AmberCare plans, we do have a $100 deductible for any repairs not involving a battery or a drive unit. If they do involve a battery or drive unit, it would be $250. I'm wondering if that is the fee that they're thinking about, or if it's a diagnostic. But yeah, that would be my best guess on what Tesla's charging you for there.
Okay. And I had a question, but it's just gone straight out of my head. Does anybody else have a question while I'm remembering that? Oh, yes, I remember what it was. So phone numbers are both a blessing and a curse. Do you have any fear that you are going to get inundated with calls saying, how do I reboot my screen? I got a flat tire. My HVAC isn't working properly, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera?
It's not a fear. Again, I want to provide a similar question or answer that I did to David, and so we would be very fortunate to be in that place. We really try to lead with service, even for customers that are not signed up for AmberCare that have questions. They do call us because they look for Tesla service online. They don't find a number. They find our number and they call us. They ask us every single question, including the other day, we had an owner say, "Hey, I want to buy Tesla stock. How do I do that?" I'm like, "We are not a stockbroker." So we get all sorts of questions from the community. I think the best case scenario for us is we provide a great answer, a great experience, and we try to convince you to become an AmberCare customer, but we won't turn customers away. And if we need to scale, we do have access to some additional great service advisors and technicians that, again, have spent time at Tesla, so we can increase our capacity as that grows.
Okay, careful what you wish for. I will be calling you on a regular basis.
Well, you have my personal number as well, Nick.
I
right?
do.
So.
That is true. Well, although I don't think you're a master technician, Joe, so I'm not sure how helpful you would be.
It's funny that you say that. I got some props from my colleagues the other day. They said, "I get it. You haven't spent 10 years at Tesla, but you're starting to get at least some of the lingo." I got a question the other day. "Hey, what's in a drive unit?" And I was like, "A stator, inverter, something like that, rotor." So I got pretty close, enough to be dangerous, but certainly not like my colleagues. That's for sure.
Okay. Any other questions from anyone? No? Okay, I think we are good. All right, in that case, let me stop the recording. Thank you, Joe. I really appreciate that. So before I stop the recording, just to wrap this thing up. So if people want more information, they go to either getamber.com for the kind of vanilla offering that you have. And then also you put the link to electrifiedgarage.com/electrified-care is the other link. You've already sent me a link to some other documents. So this video is going to get posted to our YouTube channel, and we'll send a link out to everybody. And we'll also distribute links and any other information that you've got. And as Joe said, he and I have been chatting. We're going to try and come up with a benefit that only applies to members of this club. So as it stands right now, anybody who has a Tesla in Florida can get AmberCare or get Electrified Care. But we're hoping that we can come up with something that is a little bit of benefit if you are a member of the Owners Club.
Yeah,
So,
and two notes, I guess, there would be, one, I will share some more information through through you, Nick, to make sure that everyone has all the links and such. And the second is, let's just say you reach out, just make sure that, you know, you mentioned that we talked, that you were on this call today, and we'll just make sure that you get the best rate and the best sort of deal no matter what.
Cool. Very good. Alrighty, let me stop the recording.
Very good. Very